Andrew 7 the ticket. Postgame show heading towards the finish and completion. We'll go until 4 o'clock. We'll take your text. We'll take your questions. We'll take your calls. 402-999-4620 if you want to text in. Starter Hammond text line. If you want to call in the Honda Lincoln hotline, you can do so. 464-5685. It's me and Bach. And there's lots to talk about. How about this? It's competitive in Madison. Bach, let's bring it in, bro. Are we surprised?
Well, I don't know if I would be surprised if you told me if this team was coming in, everybody's ready to go. They keep their 8-man rotation. But with the way that this game has gone, from the beginning, Bryce McGowan's not playing. You think, okay, that's not good. I guess we can see what this team looks like minus Bryce McGowan's, which is what a lot of people are thinking to begin with going into next year. And then later down in the game, you have Trey McGowan's get tossed for the technical on Johnny Davis. So I mean, you're talking about two of their 6-man rotation here, not just two of them. Arguably right up there with the best two. Certainly Bryce is right up there, and Trey McGowan's. We know what he's meant to this team this whole year. When you see the absence of him, he's kind of their senior leader, the energy, the defense, the best on-ball defender, all that stuff. So for them to be this close and right now leading at Wisconsin, number 10 Wisconsin. It's quite impressive. I mean, I saw Edwards off the bench. I didn't expect to see him the rest of the season. Tominaga's had to play some minutes. Hasn't hit his shots, but is doing what he can to help keep this team in the game. And then, of course, Alonzo Verge, who has just been incredible over the last few games. He gets the technical for one, but other than that, right now with 24 points and 6 assists, and had to kind of take this role, right? I mean, Bryce isn't there. Trey's not there. He's going to have to try to help lead them to victory. Derek Walker, they were kind of playing through for a portion of this game. I love that. We've been calling for that all year. So it's just really cool to see him stand up and hopefully, I mean, if they can get this win, there's more than a heartbeat in the program. It's a, hey, look out for that team. I don't care if they're the 14th seed. Look out for that team in the Big Ten tournament.
Well, they may not be the 14th seed if they win this game.
That too.
Right? Like they may not be the 14th seed. Also, we don't know who the matchups will be. Right? Because first of all, you're impacting the entire conference tournament by taking away the full title from Wisconsin. Look, you want to talk about a fun trip home.
Oh, yeah.
Knocking off the 1 seed? Let that marinate for a second. That as the 14 seed, you would knock off the number 1 seed in a meaningful game that impacts the rankings and seedings of the entire tournament. And coming into a tournament where, quite frankly, as you said, does anybody really want to face them? You don't know what you're working with, right? You don't know who you're playing against, right? No Bryce. Everybody would have just exhaled. Oh, see, at least it would have been fun to watch.
Yeah.
Trey gets ejected. Oh man, the officials. More work against. Okay, here's the problem. And then you walk yourself into a situation where you have the opportunity to make the statement about your program.
Yeah, it's just closing down too. I mean, a 12-0 scoring run is what they're currently on, so we'll see kind of how it finishes. And obviously, can't do play-by-play, but it's just I mean, they had a run against them earlier where they were the ones scoring. Of course, basketball game ebbs and flows, but you're just not used to a 12-0 scoring run on Nebraska's side for years.
At the end of a
game, a meaningful game, that just doesn't seem to happen. So it's been incredible to watch, and it's really, I mean, I think there's going to be, especially if they win this game, a kind of a mixture of feelings of excitement and just maybe a little bit of frustration that just didn't come together quite. Yeah, this team had that potential. Can we elongate this to an NBA's regular season so you can kind of fight back closer to 500 in a few more months? But that obviously that's not going to happen. But the other thing is too, and this is kind of crazy, regardless of what happens here in the final 20 seconds of the game. It's the first Big Ten basketball tournament, and I wouldn't have thought this, especially preseason. You told me, what seed they're going to be, that I am excited for. I feel like Nebraska's coming in We'll see if Bryce is available. So it's hard to say full strength. But especially, if Bryce plays, it can be fun. I mean, this can be fun again. The last couple ones under Hoiberg, obviously you've lost your best player, the core to your team going into those games. The last ones under Tim Miles, you were running, you had a bunch of backups. So it's been, at least for me, I'd have to think, 4 years ago, 4 tournaments ago. Of course, Nebraska did play in the 2020 tournaments, I guess, for that's worth. But since I will be as excited to see Nebraska compete in this tournament, I think I felt this after Ohio State. And I think I'll feel it too. We'll see after what happens with this Wisconsin game. But I think you go in expecting to win the first round game. And you don't know what the opponent is, but whether it's Northwestern or Penn State, if you're taking care of Wisconsin and Ohio State, I think there's a bit of an expectation that let's have some fun. This team's not laying down.
Right, don't we get to be really silly now? Like this is the thing. Like for a program that's been beat down, right? You've been beat down. There's a lot of things that have gone wrong. And then you keep looking for glimpses of light. Like what you want is a glimpse of light. Oh, good heavens. Oh, good heavens. Hold on. Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Hold on here.
And it's kind of cool because it's partially coming down to the truth. We just did the Sunday morning pancakes. We're having we had some big rolls from our guys out there. So
this is
pretty cool.
This is what's fantastic to me. Right? This is what's fantastic to me, that this basketball team has managed to do what it's done, right? Listen.
Yeah, I'm holding my breath. I think it's about to happen.
Understand. Hawk, somewhere in the system is the fight song. Can you find the fight song?
That was awesome.
Find the fight song. Listen.
That's how you couldn't have scripted that game any better than Chucky Hepburn getting his last chance after baking in the 3 for the title last time out. He gets an open shot for the win.
Come on. They need to inbound, right? Do they have to inbound?
Yeah, I think so.
They have to inbound. Oh my goodness gracious. 2 up. Just have it ready. Right? So they're going to put some time on the clock. We don't know how much time will be on the clock. But Verge is fouled out. McGowan's is off the floor. Both McGowan's are off the floor. With the official review, 0.6 seconds left, right? So they need to inbound. And quite frankly, if you inbound and it's on the other, it just goes to the other end of the floor.
Yeah, just chuck it the other way.
Right? Just chuck it. Don't be cute. Right? Don't be cute.
They can't get possession under 0.6 and call timeout.
Don't be cute. Right? Just don't be cute. Right? Now, we will know whether the program is snake bitten or not here in 0.6 seconds.
Well, they're going to go over there and add a little bit of time, I'm sure, but it won't be that much more time. Nebraska might have to hit a few free throws, but it's going to be hard to see them getting much of a look at this. I don't care how much time. It can't be 3 seconds. It's got to be under 2, I would think.
Right? So you put your big in. Okay. Eduardo in, Tamanaga. Oh, dear mother of God. Oh, Bach, no. Bach.
Can good things happen for Nebraska?
No? Or snake biter? No. I told you. You want to know if you're snake bitten? No.
There you go. Oh, they're snaking.
Is it over? Or did they call timeout?
I think it's over.
Is it over? Is it final?
It's final.
Is it final? It's a final. Bach, you know what I need? It's the only thing that's appropriate right now. It's the Husker fight song. Let's go! Come on! Come on! No! Come on! Wow! Hey! Wow! Oh! Yeah! Oh, we'll throw it to break and give you a full recap. But we'll go to break with these 3 words. It's the 3 words we love so much. Go Big Red.
Can you believe all the empty car lots in Lincoln? How can they survive? Well, they are surviving by charging way too much and making you believe there are no cars available. Hey, this is Carl from Price Right Auto. I'm here to tell you that they are full of bull stuffing. Come out to Price Right in Westo and you'll find over 100 great vehicles at some great prices. We won't let you get a lemon, so we back every one of our vehicles with our peace of mind 3-month warranty. If you want a hassle-free car buying experience, check out our website, pricerightauto.com. Come see a great selection of affordable used cars on Westo Street at Price Right Auto.
Old School with DP&J.
I learned this about the difference between the college game and the NFL. Every play is designed offensively and defensively for one guy to make a mistake, whether it's being out of your gap, forgetting the blitz, forgetting a check on offense, forgetting the snap count. In college, it might be explosive play, 15 yards, whatever you deem as explosive play. The pros,
all of them are house.
All of them are. The guy will hit his head on the goalpost.
93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
You know that feeling after a good, hearty meal? The worries of the world just slip away. Time slows down. Nothing but good times and good company. That's what you get with Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. Mary Ellen's does food right, with a menu that includes smoked wings, pulled pork, brisket, catfish. And don't sleep on their sides. Shrimp and grits, collard greens, baked beans. It's food that makes your heart happy. Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul, just east of 27th and Pine. Let them fix you a plate.
Early break with Sip and Jake.
And I've told you that Dan Billy Waltrip story where back when you could talk to the players one-on-one, we were just BSing after a practice, and I just said, "Hey, so where you living?" He goes, "Well, I live over on right off Holdridge Street." I go, "You like it over there?" He goes, "Oh yeah, I'm walking distance from the Dairy Queen."
Early break with Sip and Jake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning on 93.7 The Ticket. You hear that? That's the sound of extremely tender and delicious beef from certified Piedmontese. Prime grade tenderness with a fraction of the fat and calories of normal beef. It's Nebraska-raised product and the official beef of Nebraska Athletics. Change the way you buy beef today at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese, just north of 84th and Havelock, or at cpmercado.com.
Can you believe all the empty car lots in Lincoln? How can they survive? Well, they are surviving by charging way too much and making you believe there are no cars available. Hey, this is Carl from Price Right Auto. I'm here to tell you that they are full of bull stuffing. Come out to Price Right in Westo and you'll find over 100 great vehicles at some great prices. We won't let you get a lemon, so we back every one of our vehicles with our peace of mind 3-month warranty. If you want a hassle-free car buying experience, check out our website, pricerightauto.com. Come see a great selection of affordable used cars on Westo Street at Price Right Auto.
Hey, sports fans, Rico here with HIS Auto Care 70th and Van Dorn. Carfax recently awarded us as the top-rated auto service center for 2020, and Lincoln Choice Awards voted us as the 2021 top independent auto repair center. Call us at 402-488-8934 for superior service bumper to bumper. Mention this ad and get 7% off. Doesn't get any better than that. Rico for his Auto Care 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
Back to the Tickets Basketball Postgame Show, featuring Derek Pearson and former Husker and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland, on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
I got more bounce.
Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! What's happening? What is going on? Let's bring in Husker basketball Hall of Famer Eric Strickland. Strick, kind sir, what say you? What say you, Eric Strickland?
Yeah. Let me just say it like this.
Oh, he's
everybody can you hear me?
We hear you, baby.
Y'all kicking me out? Okay. Listen, everybody has seen the bell being rung at the New York Stock Exchange. As of to now, everybody in those little yellow jackets, for me, I'm one of those guys talking about sell, sell, sell. No, I'm buying, buying, buying. I want everything. I want the whole caboodle with what Nebraska's doing right now. This was a phenomenal game. It said so much about what we believe this team could have been, even though they did not do the things that they did tonight earlier in the season. It is a wonderful testament to each and every young man in that locker room, to the whole coaching staff, and everybody that continued to believe in the process and in the plan. They executed. They had trouble. They had adversity. They didn't have their best scorer. They had all these issues that were running against them, and yet they fought it out. Everybody contributed. Everybody came in. They continued to believe, and they got the job done against one of the best teams in the country, number 10 Wisconsin, at home.
It's a streak, right? It's the streak that to go on the road, 3 cities in the Big Ten Conference,
period,
would seemingly you did not have much to play for, except yourself and the truth. And it's everything that we've been talking about, Strick. Like this team, there are ways to play against teams in the Big Ten. Other teams around the country have figured it out. So Nebraska simply had to embrace and enjoy. But look, without Bryce, Trey being ejected, Verge fouling out, and you still have a way to get to the finish line with a win, 74-73 over the Badgers in Wisconsin, in a game where Wisconsin was playing for sole possession and sole right to the Big Ten regular season championship. Not so fast. The bottom seed has taken down the number 1 seed.
Yeah. Ooh, hey, I like that echo. That's the type of echo we want to see reverberate. Hopefully that would carry over into this offseason. And as I said, buy. I'm buying what's going on. If I'm Fred Hoiberg right now, just prior to going into the Big Ten, I'm continuing that same theme. Why not us? 5 games is going to be a challenge in 5 straight days. That's why I think it's built that way. It's not built for you in the beginning of the season to be able to come in and then do something crazy. But why not? If they can get everybody back, they can figure out what's going on with Bryce, make a run at it, go as deep as you can go 2-3 rounds, make the best of it that you can to end the season. And if I am Fred Hoiberg, where I was buying, I would be in there, sell. I would be trying to sell everything I can for Bryce, for Trey, for Derek. I'm trying to sell. Let's come back and shock the world just like we did tonight. That's the message I'm having going out of this outtake of the season. We can't hear you, DP. Maybe you can't hear me.
with our peace of mind 3-month warranty. If you want a hassle-free car buying experience, check out our website, PriceRightAuto.com. Come see a great selection of affordable used cars on West O Street at Price Right Auto.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round, and their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Can you believe all the empty car lots in Lincoln? How can they survive? Well, they are surviving by charging way too much and making you believe there are no cars available. Hey, this is Carl from Price Right Auto. I'm here to tell you that they are full of bull stuffing. Come out to Price Right in West O and you'll find over 100 great vehicles at some great prices. We won't let you get a lemon since we back every one of our vehicles with our peace of mind 3-month warranty. If you want a hassle-free car buying experience, check out our website, PriceRightAuto.com. Come see a great selection of affordable used cars on West O Street at Price Right Auto.
You hear that? That's the sound of extremely tender and delicious beef from certified Piedmontese. Prime grade tenderness with a fraction of the fat and calories of normal beef. It's Nebraska-raised product and the official beef of Nebraska Athletics. Change the way you buy beef today at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese, just north of 84th and Havelock, or at cpmercado.com. Back to the Tickets Basketball Postgame Show, featuring Derek Pearson and former Husker and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland, on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is the Hoops postgame show here on 93.7 The Ticket. Nebraska coming off a huge victory, their top 10 victory since 2014. 10th victory on the year, of course, 4th in conference play. But we didn't really talk about some of those numbers. You know, that's the season as a total. This Nebraska basketball team, I would say, was one of the best in the country. I mean, you beat 2 top 25 teams on the road, as well as blowing out Penn State. I know it's a big statement for a 10-win team, but it's hard to argue what they've been doing out there on the floor, much less the fact that they did it without some of their best players on the court for the whole game or, part of the game throughout the night. Absolutely crazy. And a round of applause for the Huskers. Again, we are covering this show. DP has stepped out, but we still have myself, Jake Bachman, and Eric Strickland, the Husker Hall of Famer, longtime NBA vet. Once again, Strick, what do you say about the mentality, or what does it say about the mentality of this Nebraska basketball team doing this shorthanded today? They've went down to the 8-man rotation, lost one of those guys going into this game, lost both brothers, Bryce before the game, and then Trey midway through the game, and still able to finish this thing off. What kind of mentality do you think they had to have, as a team right now? They got to be feeling themselves.
I mean, one of the things that adversity does in your life, in your career, in your, on your team, in your job, one of the things that it does is it either builds character or it creates and bursts pipes. As most would say, in order for a diamond to be formed correctly, it must go through a dark space. It's a lump of coal, so to speak, right? It's really dirty before it's shined up, cleaned up, and cut. And so that's the way I view this. They could have easily, and it looked like at times they just mailed it in. It looked like they were done. I don't know what the conversations were. I could tell you some of the things I would have said. I would venture to say that some of the things that I said did come out in some internal videos of Fred Hoiberg. But nonetheless, they continue to stay the course. That's not always have been the problem of them not playing hard. In this game, they got off to a great and early start. They took the crowd out of it early. They got on them. They have been, one of the things I noticed, they've been defensive hands. They turned them over 5 times in the first 6 to 8 minutes, which they only average 8 turnovers or 9 turnovers a game. So they got after them defensively. You could see they were very fundamental on their blockouts. They were making correct plays. They got great looks. I could tell you that within the first half, they probably took 2 bad shots, which is unusual for this Husker team. And they were finding guys. You started to see the progression of Verge in some of the things I talked about in his penetrations, not going too deep. He was getting to a specific spot and he was making the play. They got open looks. They just missed him. You can, I don't care. If you're any coach, you can say at the end of the day, you know what, that's all right. But at the end of the day, this team got down. They had their best player out right now in Bryce McGowan's, Trey McGowan's, and listen, I'm a former referee, so I can attest to this. The refereeing was horrendous. You're on the road, you've got your best player out, your best defensive guy ends up getting kicked out. You have the referees that were horrendous because, and I say it from a standpoint of they were making calls out of position. There were some phantom calls. There were now the Trey McGowan situation. Okay, and you look at it on the film, you can maybe make that case.
Yeah,
they were fouls that they were calling on Walker, on Verge. There were some calls that were coming way out of position, yet they weren't giving them the same calls. They called a travel on Verge. And I can tell you there was a play at about the 4-minute mark where the kid Edie, no. What's his name? Jacoby Neath, where Jacoby Neath traveled in the same possession twice, where he shuffled his feet before he moved, and they don't see that. So I'm seeing some of that discrepancy going against you, and they got frustrated. You can see that. So some teams, when they get frustrated, they fall into a chasm. They go down and just kind of, get so more frustrated and focused on what's going on with the refs as opposed to what's going on in the game. That didn't happen. So that tells me a lot about the resiliency of this team, their heart, their determination. They weren't going to be denied, and they fought back with everything against them. I love what they did tonight. It was 7-1 calls against them in the second half, until almost 8 minutes. They didn't catch up until it was like almost 3-4 minutes in the game. They were shooting free throws with 4 minutes into the second half. Usually a team that good is going to take advantage of that, and they're going to destroy you. But they continued to fight defensively, continued to rebound, continued to scrap, continued to make plays when it was needed and necessary. And kudos to them, kudos to Verge, kudos to Derek Walker, kudos to Lat Man for some of the plays that he made, kudos for Kobe for coming in, kudos to Wilcher. They set screens. We talked about all that stuff earlier in the season, not setting screens. They put bodies on people. Kudos to the whole team, the whole bench, everybody that supported them. Great job, great game. Huskers 74-73 on the road against a top 10 team. Phenomenal.
Yeah, absolutely beautiful. You couldn't ask for more, especially with everything that was up against them. You did mention the Trey McGowan's foul, and I'm sure, Wisconsin post-game shows are going a little bit different right now. Johnny Davis, not just one of the contenders for player of the year here in the Big Ten, but even nationally, heck of a player. He was taken out of this game due to an injury from Trey McGowan's, and then he ended up getting thrown out. It didn't look great. At first at live, I thought, okay, maybe he's, going up to try to get to the ball. But when, on the replays, especially, it didn't look great. Do you think Trey probably should have, that was the right call, at least for the referees there?
So so the game was kind of getting out of hand. It seemed like it was above their pay grade. Maybe they just threw this crew out there because it was a meaningless game to most people, probably thinking so that they thought. And because that crew, the game was getting out of hand. It was getting touchy. It was getting testy. Davis and Trey was going at it a little bit. You can see it. And those are the things you have to step in there and have a conversation with them young men and say, hey, look, we're not going to have that tonight. I didn't see none of that. They were nonchalant, and the game kind of got away from them. So in that instance, something that hard, that heavy, you've got to really take a close look at it, right? Because from that point, it could escalate beyond that. So yeah. It was an unfortunate thing. He's tracking very hard. He goes up, here's the whistle, and he knows it's not going to have any chance at any block. He tries to pull his hand down. Unfortunately, his hand happens to go towards his face, and there's the issue. I can't say whether or not it was on the accidental clipping of each other's feet that he on trying to regather his step that hurt himself.
Yeah.
It looked like when he tried to go up, he went up clean. It looked like when he came down, it didn't look like Trey landed on his knee or on his leg or anything like that. So I didn't see anything nefarious with that. It looked like it just was an unnatural play that just happened, and he happened to unfortunately get caught where his arm was coming back down and it happened to click. I don't think in any way that's not in Trey's DNA. Now, if that was a Grayson Allen, I might have. That was a Dennis Rodman, I might have been like, hey, maybe he did that. But that's not in Trey's DNA. I don't believe in any form or fashion that he went up and tried to hit him with an elbow, no doubt. But you have the option to make that call. And by rule, excessive and then the contact in live play, that could be assessed as a flagrant too.
Yeah, so I mean that was a different, difficult call. Certainly difficult for Nebraska to rebound after already not having Bryce in the game, to lose Trey, their senior leader, and still fight to the end to get this win. How about the Verge technical? That one seemed a lot lighter. Maybe just kind of mean mugging his opponent for a second. You always wonder when does that cross the line according to a ref, because it happens often. So when's the stare down not become okay?
That was terrible.
Yeah, and maybe that's to what you're talking about. Maybe they were trying to try to clean things up, but
not on that one, my boy. Technical. There was only one thing that I could. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just saying Verge was very frustrated on the bench.
Absolutely.
So I mean that's another thing. I mean, just there's all type of obstacles for this team to overcome today. There was just different parts of the game where you're going, okay, well, they gave a heck of an effort, but this is just too much, and they still battled through it.
Exactly. I would have been frustrated if I was Verge too, because all night, earlier in the game, they was kind of letting everybody kind of play. Okay. Then it seemed to shift where Wisconsin was getting all the bumpies, and all the little touches, and all the little fouls where they were going to the free throw line, which got them back in the game and obviously took the lead. But Nebraska wasn't getting that. And so there's frustration from that aspect. As he's attacking the basket, he probably could have warranted something. A look. How do you know he was looking? This man, if there was an album out, it would have been Ralph Tresvant's Man with Sensitivity. That man was in his feelings some kind of way. I'm like, man, you got to get tougher skin. If that's the one you're going to call, if I'm the supervisor, I'm looking at you and I'm like, you can't be in the big game, young fella, because how do you know he was looking at you? He didn't say nothing. He didn't open his mouth. He didn't even frown. He just kind of smirked and looked back. How do you know he wasn't looking back to see if the ball was coming in? There's so many things he could have been looking back at, but yet you took it upon yourself to look at it as a referee that he was looking at me, showing me up. That was a garbage call. It could have been a huge play in the game once again, because now you add a foul to that young man on top of the fact that they're shooting free throws and they're getting the ball back. That was horrible. I thought that was horrible in every form and fashion.
And then, of course, how it closed out too, couldn't have scripted any better. Of course, everybody here, I think even, mostly in the state is cheering for Chucky Hepburn as long as he's not playing Nebraska, and maybe so that Wisconsin doesn't win, but for his individual success as well. You couldn't have drawn it up any better going into this game. Is Chucky gets the winning shot, because, of course, he banked in the winning shot their previous game to win the Big Ten title. So it was just kind of a cool afternoon where just a lot of things fell into place, a lot of drama in this game, a lot more than you would normally get out of your 40-minute college basketball game. And for it to end like that was very, very cool. I like that, that possibility too, because, I was thinking at least, watch out for Chucky when they were kind of passing it in there. How could you not? He just hit the game winner, one of the biggest shots of the year, to kind of kick off March Madness. You're thinking they might do it again. And then even on the inbound spans, to be honest, it looked like they got a steal and were able to chuck it up with like 0.6 seconds remaining. And that was quite a bit scary too as well. Again, we were in studio, so I didn't have the sound on, so I don't know when the buzzers were hitting or anything like that. But how did you think Nebraska closed out that game, considering they grabbed the lead very late there?
I thought they did. I thought Listen, they needed to get stops. They needed to get Wisconsin was starting to take over and take over the rebound edge and get those extra opportunities and make the best of them. So when you look at it from that standpoint, they did what they were supposed to do. Nebraska was down again by 10 rebounds, but yet they got the ones when it mattered. They got the ones when it mattered, and they matched them in points in the paint. They matched them dang near on everything in the stat sheet that we talk about as being important. And if you lose that, you've got to be able to make it up some way, somehow. And how did they do it? By way of their defense. So if you're going to give up a deficiency in rebounds, the thing that they didn't do in the past is that they let those opportunities just completely beat them. Yes, they lost the second chance point battle 15-6, but that's by way of the rebound. But at the end of the day, making them only to shoot 40% from the for field goals and 21% because they're a solid 3-point shooting team. 21% from the three, you shoot 53% and almost 30%. So therefore, that's the difference. I think that they held them and made the correct plays when it mattered, and that got them the victory tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I'd have to agree. Just kind of looking at the box score and all the stats that we were talking about going into it, Nebraska didn't necessarily dominate or do well. I mean, if they would have lost this game, we'd have our typical rebounds that talked about. 8 assists probably could be more than that. They were out. Wisconsin had more steals, had more blocks, all that stuff. Nebraska even had more turnovers. So it's kind of the box score kind of adds up to a loss, but Nebraska was able to fight it out. And again, that one part of the box score that you're saying, which doesn't equate to the loss, is holding Wisconsin to 40% field goal percentage and 21, almost 22% from three. That's where it's won. Once again, is Nebraska's defense. They still play an up-tempo game. They're still getting a lot of shots off. But these last few games, they've been holding their opponents down to near 70. Obviously Ohio State was 70, Penn State 70, and now Wisconsin 73, whereas Nebraska, they've been kind of getting in trouble. Maryland almost broke 100. I think, Iowa was a possession away. So they've really locked down their defense recently. We got to take a quick break. It'll be our last break here because when we come back, we'll close out the show. Huskers, once again, get their biggest victory as far as top 10 victories go since 2014, beating number 10 Wisconsin 74-73. And it's possible the 14 seed just beat the 1 seed. So talk about, setting things up for a crazy Big Ten tournament. That might be on the way as well. We'll talk about that stuff coming up next here on the Hoops Postgame Show on 93.7 The Ticket.
You know that feeling after a good, hearty meal? The worries of the world just slip away. Time slows down. Nothing but good times and good company. That's what you get with Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. Mary Ellen's does food right, with a menu that includes smoked wings, pulled pork, brisket, catfish. And don't sleep on their sides, shrimp and grits, collard greens, baked beans. It's food that makes your heart happy. Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul, just east of 27th and Pineland. Let them fix you a plate.
Hey, sports fans, Rico here with HIS Auto Care 70th and Van Dorn. Carfax recently awarded us as a top-rated auto service center for 2020, and Lincoln Choice Awards voted us as the 2021 top independent auto repair center. Call us at 402-488-8934 for superior service bumper to bumper. Mention this ad and get 7% off. Doesn't get any better than that. Rico for his Auto Care 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
Old School with DP and J.
And I learned this about the difference between the college game and the NFL. Every play is designed offensively and defensively for one guy to make a mistake, whether it's being out of your gap, forgetting the blitz, forgetting a check on offense, forgetting the snap count. In college, it might be explosive play, 15 yards, whatever you deem as explosive play. The pros,
all of them are house.
All of them are the guy will hit his head on the goalpost.
93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Can you believe all the empty car lots in Lincoln? How can they survive? Well, they are surviving by charging way too much and making you believe there are no cars available. Hey, this is Carl from Price Right Auto. I'm here to tell you that they are full of bull stuffing. Come out to Price Right in Westo and you'll find over 100 great vehicles at some great prices. We won't let you get a lemon since we back every one of our vehicles with our peace of mind 3-month warranty. If you want a hassle-free car buying experience, check out our website, PriceRightAuto.com. Come see a great selection of affordable used cars on West O Street at Price Right Auto.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC. And things have obviously been pretty challenging lately with new vehicles, with all the microchip and supply chain issues. But things continue to loosen up as Koppel gets more and more new vehicles in each and every week. We've had many customers also custom order their vehicles. So if you don't see what you want in our current inventory, we can put an order in to get exactly what you want. So go online, reserve your new vehicle at koppelcars.com. You'll be glad you did.
Back to the Tickets Basketball Postgame Show, featuring Derek Pearson and former Husker and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland, on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We are running out a monumental victory for the Nebraska Cornhusker basketball team as they beat number 10 Wisconsin on the road in Madison 74-73 this afternoon. Of course, coming off the heels of beating number 23 Ohio State and Penn State before them. So Nebraska now on a 3-game winning streak through their 4 Big Ten wins as they head into the Big Ten tournament. Again, a few different games still to play out. I think there's a possibility. I was just chopping up with DP. So there's a possibility perhaps Minnesota, if they lose their game tonight, Nebraska could jump up to that 13 seed. The Northwestern's in that game against Minnesota, so it's kind of confusing who Nebraska will play, but it will probably be, in the likes of Penn State, Northwestern, Minnesota, Maryland, one of those teams for sure. But either one, no matter what, those teams are on high alert, and probably the teams beyond that in the next round of the tournament pretty much on high alert for Nebraska basketball as they are among the hottest teams in the conference, and therefore one of the hottest teams in the country. I'll continue to talk my 10-21 trash right now because Nebraska basketball has deserved it as they come out with this win. I want to get to some of your thoughts as well before we round out this game today. Off the text line, somebody asked, what's the better draw in the Big Ten tourney, Penn State or Northwestern? Strick, what do you think about that? I would think Northwestern's beat them down twice pretty bad. Penn State they just took care of. So maybe you want to avoid Northwestern in the tournament?
No, I mean Penn State's tough. Don't get that mixed up. I mean, I know Northwestern has some good things about it, and they caught Nebraska slipping a little bit. I think matchup wise, they match up better with Northwestern. Penn State just gave basically Rutgers everything that they can handle in the game just prior to the one that Nebraska just played. I think at this point, they're if they can just continue to play the way that they're playing, I don't see any one of them being too much of a problem. If Bryce can come back healthy and they can get back into their regular rotations, guys continue to play the way that they're playing unselfishly and doing a lot of the things that they're doing defensively, executing. I loved all that about it. And we talked about just in the previous segment, we talked about the referees. I remember another situation that they could have gotten and taken care of, and it almost caused another blow up, was Derek Walker goes to the floor, gets the ball, retains it. One of the guys comes around and over his back to tie the ball up, but you call a jump ball, and that's not a foul. By rule, you can't pile on a guy. Now, if the other guy comes around from the front side, gets down there, reaches down there, dives down there, that's okay. But for somebody to reach around over his back, laying on him, basically piling over him, and you don't call a foul, that's another instance right there where I was just like, you guys are trying to blow this game for the home crowd. And listen, I'm a biased member because I love Nebraska, but I'm not a biased dude, as you can know. If you joined the post game or you've been on any of the shows, you would tell that I'm not biased. I'll go in just as well on Nebraska if they're not doing something right or correct that I may see as just as well as anybody else on other teams. So it's not that I'm being a homer in this particular situation. I actually was watching from the observance as a former ref and seeing some of those areas where they let the game get away, where it looked like it was slided to one end.
When did that change? It seemed to be even maybe throughout the time that you played, there was a time when you actually had to like grab the ball. If you're going to get a jump ball, you're going to have to do it clean. And then at some point, it seemed like to me they switched to where you basically can mug a guy and get a jump ball. And to your pointing out, with with Derek Walker. Yeah, it might be frustrating in this game alone, but that seems to be just reffing in general these days. Even if there's a scramble on the floor, that there should be undoubtedly be a foul before that there's a jump ball. A lot of these jump balls are called without, the other player touching the ball, much less possessing the ball.
Yeah, and so they're doing a lot of anticipation calls, which those are a lot of the things that I was seeing tonight. It's calls that were coming outside of their visual areas, calls that were meaning that in your position where that foul came from, there's no way you could see that. You basically anticipated that. That person, if the top person didn't see that, like just for example, Derek Walker may be posting up, right? He's got a guy guarding him. That would be the position of the referee that's underneath the basket to dictate what's going on between that matchup. If Alonzo Verge comes down and helps from the top side, unless he comes around and gets in front of that offensive player, you can't see what happens on that backside. That's the responsibility of what they call the trail referee. If he don't see it and don't make that call, there's no way you should be able to make that call because that's not what you should be watching. And so those are a lot of the things that were technical that I was seeing in that game. It was horrendous for me. And if I'm the supervisor, I'm watching that and trying to dictate who's going to be in the Big Ten conference as a referee. And I don't know if that crew should be doing that type of basketball. If not, maybe the playing games, and I'm hoping they don't get Nebraska.
As a ref, do you get upset at that? Because when somebody takes you from the cross court, you're there, like you said, to watch the action in that portion of the court. You don't see anything, but you hear a whistle from the trailing ref. Does that frustrate you if you're the lead ref, if you're supposed to be in that area?
You mean the frustration part of it?
Yeah, just for a ref, because what you're talking about is the ref on the opposite end of the court calling it. If you're the ref that's like right there, you're not blowing your whistle because you don't see anything.
Yes.
I would think that would frustrate me because that guy's almost up trying to upstage you.
That's discipline, right? Yeah. So there was two of those calls. One, the referee that was the center referee, the middle referee, is the guy literally camped out in the paint. And I'm like, are y'all gonna just let him stand in the paint for 10 seconds? He was in the paint, he catches the ball, he turns, he looks, he dribbles, and he's still in the paint. And it took the trail referee to finally say, no, 3 seconds. Then there was another instance, that charge, that block call that they called on Derek Walker, that was an absolute, you do not come in and make that call unless you absolutely, the referee made the right call. The one that's supposed to make the call, he made the right call. The outside referee, unless you absolutely see that, and it was the one that called the tech, it was the same one that called the tech on Verge. He was horrible. He comes in, changes the call, causes a restricted area. And as everybody knows, if you're not a referee or you're just a regular person, the restricted area is only the line that was drawn. If it's below that line, the line don't extend. Your feet can be all the way back in that if you want to. You could be underneath the basket as long as you're in that lower area where the line doesn't go to, and it can still be a charge. That's where his foot was, and even then it wasn't in there. So that guy coming in and making that call, that could have been another tremendous play that could have affected the game. And he changed that call to a block, and that was another one I would be reviewing if I was a supervisor.
A very cool scene, I guess, for Nebraska fans in Madison. You're going up against the top 10 team. You're going up against that atmosphere, and at times you're going up against those refs. But Nebraska still comes out no matter what, 74-73 with the big victory. 3 straight wins for Nebraska heading to the Big Ten tournament. And man, is it going to be fun to cover that thing and see how far Nebraska can go. We've got a lot of confidence now flowing in. Once again, thanks to Strick for jumping in for the Hoops Post Game Show. DP was here a little bit earlier, and myself, Jake Bachman. Thanks again to Action Plumbing, Electric, AC for their help all year. We'll be back for the tournament post game show on 93.7 The Ticket. Have a good afternoon.
Fruitcakes are just for Christmas, right? Gosh, I feel sorry for you.